The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has committed 150 million euros to the rehabilitation of two dams, Nalubale and Chiyira, for effective operations. Now, this resolution was announced by the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabira, during the 12th annual general meeting of the Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited.
Investigations around electricity infrastructure vandalism have shown these criminal activities targeting the national economy and security.
From the normal theft and vandalism to something that threatens the economy of the country.
Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabira, while officiating at the annual general meeting of the Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited, has disclosed that this issue will be handled by the National Security Council.
The matter is beyond UETCL alone. It's beyond the Ministry of Energy alone. The matter has been escalated to the level of the National Security Committee. Going to swing in action, and I want to use this opportunity to tell the Vandals that we have received their message properly, and we shall respond to it.
Ugandans have been warned not to expect electricity tariff reduction due to the increasing costs of production.
Expect me to reduce the cost of electricity when the cost of electricity transmission and generation and distribution is going up. It doesn't make economic sense.
The Board of Transmission Company has welcomed amendments in the recently passed Electricity Act.
The new amendment gave powers of the Ministry of Energy to be the majority shareholder, holding 51%.
Available to support UETCL in as far as implementation of projects.
Delayed projects completion has been attributed to the challenges faced in land acquisition during implementation.
We liaise with the responsible ministries to have policies and regulations on land acquisition so as to fast track acquisition of land for implementation of.
Minister Nankabira has clarified to the ending Umeme concession workers of the distribution company are assured of jobs even after the Umeme tenure.
To allay the fears of the staff who are grappling with the anxiety that we are not going to reduce the distribution network that Umeme has been operating. And what that means is that we require staff.
Umeme Uganda Limited has formally communicated to its shareholders the status of the company and what next after concession expires. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
This year, 2022, has been busy, dynamic and resourceful for the Central Corridor. As its end fast approaches, we take stock of the key developments in the corridor and what it means to the member countries.
In the mid of 2022, the Central Corridor Transit Trade Facilitation Agency witnessed a change of guard from Captain Dieudonné Dukundane of Burundi, who handed over the mantle of leadership of the five-member country organization to Advocate Florio Kanji-Okonge from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Now, in terms of advice to my successor, before that I would first wish to congratulate him. Mr. Florio Kanji-Okonge, the new Executive Secretary of the Central Corridor, is someone I've been working with for the past 5 years. I would wish everyone to give him full support. I would once again wish to call all development partners to continue supporting Central Corridor under his leadership.
Mainly those from Kampala, I would like to tell them that I'm coming because I want to bring all of them to use the depot, to use the Central Corridor route. Thank you so much.
Okanju visited all member countries, among them Uganda, and assured stakeholders of more support, improved services and infrastructural development in his tenure. Top on his agenda, and he made it categorically clear in various engagements with top government officials and business community from Uganda, is attracting more cargo traffic on the Central Corridor's cost-friendly and safe multimodal transport system.
The Congolese, no, I'm Central Corridor. So this is the big opportunity for us, Honorable Minister, to renew our commitment to you as our boss, that we will serve the Central Corridor agenda.
Okay.
And for us, there is no difference to make. So we need Uganda, cargo.
If we can have alternate and even complementary routes, I think it will help in movement of cargo. And it also gives the traders a choice. You want to come through the Central Corridor, so be it. If you want to come through the Northern Corridor, so be it. So promoting the Central Corridor was long overdue in terms of ensuring that we have smooth flow of cargo.
To boost the business relationship with Uganda, CCTTFA supported Uganda Railways Corporation with funds to rehabilitate 20 flatbed wagons.
So I think that that's all as a message that we can give to the Uganda business community. But we take this opportunity also to invite the business community of Uganda.
URC also looked at increasing its operations, improving its operations by improving the storage and handling of the cargo of customers. But we want to renovate the goods shed, which is at Kampala station, and then also have a number of facilities they want to do at that goods shed to be able to obtain the URA permit to operate it.
After the milestone event in Kampala, Fred Byamukama, the State Minister for Works and Transport, led a delegation of government officials and other key stakeholders to Tanzania for a familiarization tour. The Standard Gauge Railway project, the Port of Dar es Salaam and the Lake Victoria Port of Mwanza were on the travel itinerary.
We need to move on, and we have come. These people, they see what we are doing in SGR, what we are doing via the water transport, what you are doing in URC. But I'm up for the good cooperation through the URC because we have already received the reports.
I mean, in Uganda we are doing very well, but it's not enough. I think we've got around 100 and something thousand tons. I guess so. Yeah, 240. It's not enough. It's not enough. We can do better. We can do better. I think when we're going to finish SGR from Dar es Salaam to Mwanza, it's going to take around 10 hours. Dar es Salaam to Mwanza. And then we've got, with a ship, maybe we can spend again 10 hours. So by 20 hours, you can be in Port Bell. That is a very good thing. So.
To crown an otherwise successful year, the Central Corridor graduated its first batch of 10 students who completed their training as Officers of Navigation Watch and Engineering Watch Class 3 on November 28, 2022 in Dar es Salaam.
Today's graduation was not so good on the gender matter. We had only one lady among 10 students, which is not so good. So we are going to address that imbalance.
That's a good step because being the first lady in the first batch, I was afraid that why am I alone? But now this is good news for the corridor that they are going to have 5 female students. So I'm very happy for them. I would love to encourage them to really concentrate on their studies, and they should know that they are doing sciences. Sciences, it's a little bit challenging because you might have difficulties in mastering all these situations in the courses we take.
According to the Secretariat and Board of Directors, the organization is committed to keep implementing the Central Corridor agenda in order to make it more competitive and sustainable trade route of choice. Dennis Igoa for the Business Roundup.
The Insurance Regulatory Authority is set to introduce a special agriculture insurance policy to suit farmers, especially those living in rural areas. Alhaji Ibrahim Kadunabi, the authority's chief executive officer, is optimistic that this policy is to expand the insurance industry.
Cluster agricultural insurance agents will be mandated to sensitize and enroll farmers into the insurance ecosystem.
The government
has launched the parish development models, which has a very big component of agriculture. And in support of the Agriculture Insurance Consortium, we want to license a cluster of agents who are going to only sell agriculture insurance to the population. This is expected to bring in about 10,000 agents, new agents, who are only looking at agriculture.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Insurance Regulatory Authority, Ibrahim Kadunabi, wants smallholder farmers benefiting from different government development projects get opportunities of safeguarding farms in case of uncertainties.
Individualistic in line, and we are having an engagement with the bank agents to see which products they can effectively sell to the masses, and many other initiatives we are doing to ensure that very many people can reach the masses.
The Insurance Regulatory Authority plans to upscale operations of micro-insurance systems for the industry's wide base.
Soldiers who should reach everybody in Uganda or everywhere we are. And the products which address such concerns are offered by micro-insurance companies, or they are micro-insurance products. These are products of low premiums. These are products which cover even your phone, and someone can insure only your phone, and you pay a premium of maybe 10,000.
Stakeholders in the insurance industry have been appealed to reorganize their operations for the implementation of the Insurance Financial Reporting Standards IFRS 17 in January 2023, which is expected to enhance trust and transparency of the sector. Abdul Nasir Lowama, UBC Business.
The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, announced that China offered a duty-free market access to 98% of the taxable products exported by Ugandans to China. This was at the launch of the 2022 China Enterprises CSR report hosted by the Embassy of China in Uganda.
The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, has appreciated the Uganda-Chinese community for the several economic milestones the two countries have achieved.
It is vital to note that due to our diplomatic ties and in line with the World Trade Organization general system of preference, China has offered duty-free, quota-free market access to 98% of the taxable products exported by Uganda to China. And we don't take that for granted, Your Excellency. We sincerely appreciate you for that gesture.
There are over 350 Chinese enterprises operating in various sectors, from manufacturing, agro-processing, construction, energy and development, ICT and agriculture.
And I believe that Chinese enterprises have more to do and will and continue to play a big role in our relationship. Today we witness this issuing of social responsibility book. These contents are just a very small part of what they have done in the last 10 years.
The Chinese Embassy bilateral relations with Uganda include providing several CSR services in the health, education and sports sectors, as well as grants for community livelihood support. The report details the social and economic milestones reached, as well as present and future corporate social initiatives of Chinese companies in cooperation with the government of Uganda.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of Uganda, during our data collection, I'm happy to report that we found that the Chinese doctors have been coming to Uganda since 1983. To date, exactly 209 doctors from China have come to Uganda.
This year marks the 60th anniversary of bilateral relations between the two states dating back from 1962. Uganda, however, still faces a negative balance of trade with China, amounting to over $450 million today. Wadulo Arnold, UBC News in Kampala.
Uganda's target for commercially harnessing the oil and gas resource by mid of 2025 is more realistic after the signing of the final investment decision in February 2022. However, the entire oil and gas project has faced widespread international criticism over allegations of not being friendly to the ecosystem and human rights abuse. Our reporter Dennis Sigoa gives an in-depth analysis on the sector development.
2022 has been a milestone year for Uganda's extractive industry, especially the oil and gas sector. It is the year that saw the long-awaited signing of the final investment decision by the joint venture partners Total Energies, the Chinese National Offshore Oil Corporation (CNOOC) and Uganda National Oil Company (UNOC). The FID signing accelerated investments in the oil and gas sector. Currently, the CNOOC oil rig at Kingfisher in Chikube district is being installed, and the same applies to Total Energies oil rig that is also being assembled in Bulisa district. With this commitment and investment, achieving the oil and gas production target of mid-2025 is becoming more realistic.
Our discovery of oil is not a curse. We've been able to benchmark and been able to make corrections from the mistakes that other countries have done. So for us, we are happy, we are moving slowly, but we shall arrive without casualties.
In the recent oil and gas summit in Kampala, graced by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, sector players were assured of more support for smooth operations.
We spent so many years sorting out issues with arrogant people. So the plan will be implemented according to schedule. And I hope our partners join us firmly and advise those. When you go to this parliament, these are just young girls. Member of parliament, You are lecturing me what to do in Uganda.
However, as Uganda sets its target on commercial oil production, there is a big elephant in the room: the global agenda for adoption of eco-friendly sources of energy. The firm push for clean energy has not gone down well with Uganda, a resource-rich country that has anchored its social and economic growth agenda on the yet-to-be-harnessed oil and gas resources.
We are not going to retract, we are not going to withdraw, we are moving forward, having appreciated where we've come from, where we are. We quite very well know where we are going.
As a country, we are committed to principles of transparency and accountability. The other principle that continues to govern us as set in the oil and gas policy is protection of the environment and conservation of biodiversity.
Uganda is in support of the energy transition agenda because of the proven benefits in tackling climate change, but it emphasizes on a just transition.
Why it becomes very important for us is the question around just and fair energy transition, particularly for African countries like Uganda. Obviously, as we get into e-mobility and other spaces like this, we also have to deal with the issue around fossil fuel and balance those as we move forward. And I think this conversation also comes together in many ways. So yes, we are also using this a way to say that, despite the fact that the country is also pursuing that angle, it's also doing some fantastic and transformational work in that regard.
Big thing happening now is the energy transition. The transition from the fossil fuels to the green energies. Now, many times we have looked at it as, we need to be climate smart, we need it to. The major issue is what is our participation in those technologies. Are we going to be a source of technology, or are we going to be consumers of technology?
Fossil fuels such as petrol and diesel, which are used on millions of motor vehicles every day, as well as generators, are blamed for accelerating environmental pollution, and thus the need for innovative approaches to reduce the carbon footprint caused by the machines.
We know that climate change is caused by greenhouse emissions, and we also have estimated that in the transport sector, the transport sector contributes about a quarter of those emissions. Conversations on climate change, the opportunity to go into e-mobility and talk about energy efficiency becomes very crucial in that conversation. The second point that it's the reason why it's an imperative now and why it becomes important now is the opportunity that it offers for a country like Uganda.
So in solving our problems, we want to be source of technology. So for us, we are focusing not on the fear that is coming out of climate change, we are focusing on harnessing the opportunities coming out of climate change.
Dennis Ikoa for UBC News.
Port Jesus Museum is a popular tourist attraction in Mombasa, Kenya. It was built by the Portuguese towards the end of the 16th century on the coastline near Old Town, Mombasa. The Great Fort, which was in 2011 designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, features tonight in our Sounds of Business. Enjoy. Financial management is key for one to grow any amount of wealth. So as a team, we advise you that despite the festivities, track your expenditures and know how well you will land into 2023 and beyond. Otherwise, thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Weekly Business Roundup with me, your host, Wadulo Mark Arnold. Catch us on the next one, same time, same place. From the team, we must say good night.